Hello, this is Dr. Charles Foster with Fostering Wellness. We're coming up on a celebration that we take a lot of pride in participating in. 29 years ago, actually, we began our practice. It was August 10th of 1987. And then, so that was just, half a month ago, if you will. And then in another, essentially 2 weeks, there's another chiropractic event that's important to us as well, and it's called Chiropractic Founders Day. And on September 18th, it's when we recall the birth of chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa. And so briefly, I just want to tell you a little bit about that. And because they come so close together, we've made it a habit in our office of celebrating both the founding of originally Brandon Clinic of Chiropractic and now Fostering Wellness. And we've rolled that in with Chiropractic Founders Day. So about Founders Day. In 1895, D.D. Palmer was practicing his health trade in Davenport, Iowa. And at the time, he was known as magnetic healer. And the magnetic healers of the time, they essentially laid their hands on people. They massaged them. They adjusted numerous joints and essentially provided what was known then as vitalistic healing. And he had a lot of clients, a lot of customers who came to his office in downtown Davenport. But something changed for him at a certain moment in time when one day outside his office, he ran into the custodian of the building. And this custodian was the son of some slaves. He is a black man, and his name was Harvey Lillard. And this custodian related his story that a number of years before, I think it was 17 years actually, he had bent and lifted and twisted in some fashion. And from that moment forward, he had developed some kind of discomfort in his upper back, just below his neck. And at the same time, coincidentally, he had suffered severe hearing loss. And so this conversation between D.D. Palmer and Harvey Lillard was something of a shouting match, if you will, as he got the story. And D.D. Palmer really wanted to see if he could help this person. And so because he reasoned in his mind that if the person could have bent over, twisted, and felt something crack in his back and subsequently have pain for the next 17 years, and at the same time have lost his hearing, he, guess you would say, theorized that it's possible that if you could crack that back into position, then maybe the hearing would be restored. So he convinced or persuaded Mr. Lillard to submit for a treatment. An interesting thing happened. He found, as he examined his spine, a vertebra that was out of alignment. In his own words, D.D. Palmer racked this bone back into position. And the next day, Harvey Lillard came to him and said, since that time, his hearing had improved. Where he had to shout to have a conversation, he was no longer, didn't have to do that. He didn't have to have the other person shouting at him. In fact, history records that he was able to hear hoofbeats on the streets below, down in Davenport, Iowa. So D.D. Palmer reasoned that he had found the cure to deafness. Kind of an interesting jump of conclusions, if you will. But so he took out some ads, they say, and he advertised that he could take care of people with a hearing loss. And so people came, and yet, as you can imagine, there were very few people who actually found their hearing to be restored as a result of chiropractic care. So he had to adjust his thinking. He said, maybe I don't have the cure to deafness. Maybe I have the cure to something else. And he began to consider this misalignment. And this misalignment in the spine, he termed as something called a subluxation, a small dislocation. And what he reasoned was that if the cause of the person's deafness was because of a subluxation, then if you could remove that cause by correcting the subluxation and making an adjustment, then perhaps, if too much damage had not been done, the hearing would be restored. And he began to find that as some of these people came to him, they had other issues as well. And oftentimes, a specific chiropractic adjustment would improve their digestion or their reproductive health, or get rid of their headaches, or get rid of their lower back pain. So anyway, the birth of chiropractic 121 years ago, on September 18th. That's when we're going to celebrate this. 121 years ago. Pretty awesome thing. Fastest growing health profession since that time. And more and more people take care of themselves utilizing chiropractic care. So I apologize that this is a little bit longer than I intended, but I hope that you'll join us over the next 30 days as we talk about Chiropractic Founders Day and answer some of your questions.